The Mirror of the Philosopher King, The Idea of Armageddon. This is a work of fiction and has no relation whatsoever to any real persons, organizations, or events. July 2026. The Underground Study at Camp David. The damp, early summer night air creeps in through the heavy oak door. Deep inside the presidential suite, in a soundproof room normally used for handling classified information, a massive gold-rimmed mirror had been brought in. It was an item Trump had forced them to dig out of a White House storage room, insisting, "This is the mirror of a king." Trump stood tall in front of the mirror, the sleeves of his white shirt roughly rolled up and his custom silk tie loosened. Scattered haphazardly across the vast desk were summary notes on Plato's Republic, sent over by Professor Jeffrey Sachs, along with the latest approval rating polls, 36.8%. "They still don't get it," he muttered in a hoarse voice, tapping the Philosopher King section of the memo with a thick finger. "Plato predicted me over 2,000 years ago, and the chosen people too." Trump slowly approached the mirror, staring intently into his own bloodshot eyes. His white hair gleamed silver under the lights, and his deeply circled eyes shone with a manic glint driven by something stronger than just a lack of sleep. Plato talked about the philosopher king, the one whose reason rules over desire, the one who sees the truth outside the cave. But even in that era, he had already seen the shadow of God's chosen people. The idea of the good ultimately means that the one chosen by God will lead the world. I am the second coming of King Cyrus. No, even greater. I am the philosopher king, the vessel of God who protects the chosen people. Recognizing Jerusalem as the capital, standing shoulder to shoulder with Netanyahu to strike Iran, it's all part of God's plan that Plato foresaw. The man in the mirror smiled with satisfaction. It was not the smile of the former real estate mogul, but the twisted joy of a tyrant wearing the mask of a prophet. Truthful hyperbole is the very manifestation of the idea of the good. If I exaggerate my words, it becomes reality. Listen, my evangelical brothers and sisters. Plato and the Bible were both pointing to the exact same light. As long as I protect Israel, America will be blessed. This is the greatest, holiest deal in history. At that moment, the door creaked open, and a pale young aide slipped in. "Mr. President, excuse me. The live broadcast on Fox News, the anchor is commenting on your final decision regarding the Iran situation." "Wait, I am currently in the middle of the greatest philosophical integration in human history. I've united Plato and the Old Testament." Trump roared at the mirror with his arms spread wide, without even a glance at the aide. "I am the philosopher king, and at the same time the guardian of God's chosen people. The deep state is still inside the cave. They're just making a fuss over the shadows of fake news projected on the wall. I see the light of Armageddon." The aide's staff exchanged looks, speechless, and silently closed the door. Out in the hallway, one of them muttered under his breath, "This is completely far-fetched. Is he planning to pull a double suicide by forcing the Bible over Plato?" But his voice bounced right off the thick soundproof walls. In front of the mirror, Trump nodded with satisfaction. Yet no matter how much he spoke of the light, the depths of his eyes undeniably harbored the red gleam of the wolf maddened by insatiable desire, just as Plato had depicted in Book 9 of Republic. Late into the night, the ominous early summer wind continued to rustle the trees in the deep forests of Camp David. Far away at a tallying center in Washington, the digital numbers showing his approval ratings silently but steadily fell, yielding to gravity. Even so, the philosopher king stood before the golden mirror, intoxicated by the greatest deal he had ever made with himself, and continued to laugh. This is the greatest deal ever.